And I want to thank my dear friend. Great shout out to all my watchers on YouTube. Mr. Menachem Talban from San Jose, Elliot Kohanim, which is from LA and Baltimore, and Nate Munesa, the people that are in the Elijah that's here live. And Baruch Hashem, it's so heartwarming that you guys give me feedback on this class. It's already changing lives. And you could always email me at maor, M-A-O-H-R, S-M at Gmail for more suggestions or experiences. Today's class, last class, almost got 1,000 views on between Facebook and YouTube. And hopefully we could make people make the most important choice in life informed. I was asked by one of my precious viewers to review. So we're going to do commandment number 1 and 2 and then review 1 and 2 and then do 3 and 4 today. Please, everybody, share this with your friend. It could save their lives. And I kid you not, one of my congregants, I don't want to say his name, but he was about to commit suicide one day. He told me I had to sit with him for hours because he said, my wife is making my life so miserable. I just want to pull the trigger. And he owned a lot of guns. So miserable marriages really can make people suicidal. We want people to have a glorious, happy marriage. To review last week, we said rule number 1 from the 10 Commandments. What was it, Elijah? Pray. You cannot have any success in if you want to be a professional garbage picker, you need to pray for B'siyata Dishmaya. You cannot get anywhere or anything good in life that has bracha. Isn't that what Rabbeinu Nachman teaches us? Without prayer. That was commandment number 1. Commandment number 2 was what? Have a good mentor and dating coach. Which for thousands of millennia, which for thousands of years and millennia was your parents. Your parents was the ultimate mentor and dating coach, which they knew since they were, listen, nobody loves their kid. Nobody's going to love you like your mother or father loves you. So since they have their kid's best interest in hand, they don't look for fake superficial good. A lot of these women that are superstar, gorgeous blondes, they're choshkel but moshkel. They're very good looking, but they got a lot of ego and internal problems. So, I could tell you, and I'll say it again, I'm not ashamed. I wouldn't have been married to the wife that I am. That is the apple of my eye if I didn't have a good dating coach, a good mentor. So a dating coach is now we're going to do rule number 3. Rule number 3 is basically saying, look inside the person, because what's inside matters much more than what's outside. So many marriages are not happy because people got married for the wrong reasons. They got married for money. They got married for honor. So number A of this commandment is what? That's why in the Orthodox community, and being somebody that's in real estate, my family, you got to identify, for lack of a better mashal, parable, are you looking for a condo? Are you looking for a villa? Are you looking for a mansion? Are you looking for oceanfront property? Are you looking for a penthouse? It's very frustrating, and I've made 4 shidduchim, 4 people, Baruch Hashem, I made a match, and they went under the chuppah. And as a rabbi, I wouldn't say 1,000 people, but hundreds of people over the years said, oh, Rabbi, don't forget my child, between friends, family, and congregants, in the hundreds, definitely people. And I really, I believe one of the jobs of the modern day rabbi is that he shouldn't just, close his eyes. He should feel the pain of his flock, and he should proactively try to help his people get married. But this is why made this the third commandment, is you got to clarify exactly what you're looking for. And let me give you a very good example of this. In the Orthodox community, the yeshivish community, why do people have such a successful marriage rate and get married so young? Because they know what they're looking for. If you're just dating for fun, you're destroying your whole prospects. In the yeshivish world, you make a resume. So part of what I'm writing here is you have to sit down and write a resume, who you are and what you are looking for. Like in the yeshiva world, question number 1 is, like my daughter, she's getting married in the next few days, God willing, and it should be b'simana tova v'mazala yehuta.
Mazel tov, mazel tov.
Shusum
Amen.
and everybody that's watching that hasn't found their soulmate, we bless them to find their soulmate. Yosef Hashem alechem kachem elef pa'amim. Yivarech etchem kasher diber lachem. See, question number 1 off the bat is the girl will say, I'm looking for a guy in learning. I want the guy to learn short term for a year or 2. Now I started a whole catastrophe on commotion on Facebook that I said Rav Moshe Feinstein, Rav Aaron Kotler, and all the Gedolim said everybody in America ideally should try to learn in Kollel for a year or 2.
Even the Rebbe?
They should base their life on Torah because the world is so corrupt. But this is the glorious and very productive part of it, right? We're thinking CPA, right, Elijah? We're thinking efficiency. If you just dating and you don't know what you're looking for, right? Then how are you gonna find the property? How are you gonna see? That's what the beauty of it. When you write a resume, in the resume you're saying I, and that's why, by the way, why you have these new websites that are so good. That's what's the one that's started like 20 years ago? It's a Goyish one, but it's very, very... No.
Match.com?
No, it's a much more sophisticated one. I forgot the name, but what I'm trying to say is, you write, for example, let's bring an example from the yeshiva world, my own daughter. Okay, I know I want somebody in long-term learning. I'm willing to work, right? I want X, Y, Z from the guy, right? If he doesn't have this, he's not in my ballpark, right? Same thing, the guy. The girl says, I want a girl that went to Beis Yaakov. I want a girl that went to seminary. You understand? My wife just spent a few $1,000s taking a course online from the greatest dating coach in Jerusalem. And she said this: if you know what you're looking for, and you do very good research, like CIA level research, which means on the resume it writes who this person's friends is. You have to call the friends you have to do so much research, you have to call the friends that are not even on the resume, right? If you do NSA level, CIA level research, 50% of the dating process is not even necessary because you've qualified that this person is quality, right? He's not nonsense. You know what you're looking for. And if the other party has done the same, right? It's such a glorious thing because then it makes the whole system much more smoother. You know what you're looking for. And I hate this when people tell me, Rabbi, I'm just looking for a good woman. What is that supposed to mean? And then 20 years later, I see the guy is still not married. 10 years later, because they didn't follow this commandment. They don't. I'm not saying to be too, again, I want to be nuanced here. I don't want to say, you should say, I want a 6-foot blonde woman that's making $1 million a year. No, that's not kosher either. That's going against the beginning of the commandment that look inside, because what's inside is much more valuable than outside. Mm-hmm. But you have to at least, I have a friend, any two people that have a pulse, he tries to match them together. That's not good. It's not going to get anywhere. Has he made any matches? No. Has this gentleman made any matches? I don't think he's made any.
I don't know.
But on tonight, that is Rosh Chodesh Tammuz. It's a very auspicious night. Now, the B, that was footnote, subcategory A. Subcategory B is all of this classes. We're not unfortunately going to get to commandment 4 tonight, guys. This itself is a whole world. I'm going to focus on just commandment 3 tonight. So really, what should you be looking for? Right? We said you need to look for specific things and go after people that have those specific qualities. And if you do good research and make sure the person, you understand? The person that you're dating has those specific qualities and outlooks in life and goals in life. Like if God forbid somebody's like, a Gino, Jewish in name only, and, we want to help those people also. We want to help every Jew. But if somebody doesn't want to have any kids, should they be dating somebody that wants to have 7 kids? No. It's not going to work. So that's what I'm trying to say. You understand? Clarify what you're looking for and then research to make sure the person's that they have the same interest as you are. And that's the beautiful thing why these people in our community get married at such a young age. Because first of all, they're looking for the right things. They do good research. And then people are sharing the same interest and outlook on life. They're on the same page. And that's why they're able to get the thing. But the $1 million question here is, what are we looking for? So, as you know, yesterday I had one of the world records of trying to mediate and arbitrate some peace between a marriage that was quite broken. So I'm going to say 2 issues that my father taught me about this. And then I'm going to go to the most basic because I wanted to teach something that maybe somebody else is not going to teach you out of the box. Then we'll go to the classical Talmudic things. So this is in footnote B. What does God say we should look for in a soulmate, right? So I'll tell you 2 things my dad said, and this is more on a practical wisdom. My dad, his name was Shlomo Avimori, and he was a very wise man. If you're looking for a husband or a wife, this class is more geared towards men. Mm-hmm. But we want to marry people from functional families. I'll tell you amazing Abarbanel, that is science. The Abarbanel said this 500-600 years ago, but science has proved it. Do you know it says in the Torah almost 70 times, maybe even more, not to abuse the ger, the convert? In Torah Nevim Ketuvim. Why? Why does the Torah keep on saying you should love the ger? Lo tonu et ger. Do not oppress him. Abarbanel says because we, for hundreds of years, were oppressed by the Egyptians. And it's what ends up happening is that people that get abused, it becomes a vicious cycle. They have a tendency to, if they are not able to within themselves resolve the abuse, what does it become? It becomes a vicious cycle and they abuse others, right? Because they think it's a kosher. So it says, the Torah is saying, even though the Egyptian abused you, I have to tell you this 70 times throughout Tanakh. Don't be the abuser. Realize, let that go. That was a sinful act. If you have African American or Chinese or whatever, that they become Jewish, make them feel at home. You have to actually love them double. And this is, we know that there was a podcast that was interviewing the 3 most successful rabbis, Rabbi Beryl Wine and Rabbi Bess, from the very prominent rabbis. One of them has been a rabbi for over 50 years. And one of the most scary parts of being a rabbi is that you do come across sometimes parents that child abuse their own kids, right? And it's so sad. And I can guarantee you, I would say, I don't know the statistic because I'm not a therapist and I didn't research this, but my dad would always say this. probably 89%, 90% of these people that do abuse children, which is the worst evil act one can do, take the innocence of a child away, they themselves were abused. You understand? So guys, rule number one is that, and I'm telling you this from experience, if the person you're going out with is gorgeous, right, very successful, but they came from a dysfunctional family where they were abused, you got to be very careful. It's like a sabra fruit, because they may go ahead, if they haven't solved that abuse problem, they may abuse who? You, which are their better half, right? Marriage isn't 1 + 1 = 2. It's 1/2 + 1/2 = 1. And the sum is greater than the total. So, for example, if you find that the woman does not have a good relationship with her sister or brother or mother or father, and she has the same DNA as these people, basically, same blood, is that a good person you should put at the top of your resumes and list today? No. I would stay away from it, like I would stay away from nuclear waste. Am I saying these poor people should not get married? They should. Maybe people are from a similar background, and people, we need to make sure that they've resolved their abuse. But it's a bad sign if the guy himself is not able to have a good relationship with his own parents, right? Or siblings. Do you think they're gonna have, is there a high probability they're gonna have a good relationship with you? No. So that's a red flag. See, guys, like we were learning Misat Yesharim with Chacham Yitzchak here. There's something called Sur Merav Asetov. Always avoid pitfalls. Sometimes love blinds, and it's true. Oh my God, you know? We say in Farsi, Eshcha bad dardiye. When you're in love, ahava mekalkelet ashura. When you're in love, you you can overlook everything and anything, right? That's why the second commandment was have an independent auditor, which is a dating coach, to make sure that you're looking for the right things. But this is a bad sign. If your potential person you want to date has not a good relationship with their parents or their siblings and is coming from a dysfunctional or abusive family, and you know, Commandment 4, really I shouldn't give you a preview, but I'll give you a preview. Commandment 4 is really, and Elliot, this is for you, is you cannot get into a marriage with the expectation you're going to change the person, right? That's commandment number 4. You can't. It's not going to work, and I don't have time to go through that tonight. We want to go more in this. So, second thing you have to be careful is, my dad used to always tell me this, and he learned that from his Rebbe, that and on our Rebbe, which was a student of the Chazon Ish, Maran Harav Eliezer ben David, a great Persian gadol. He would always say, one of the number one criteria when you're dating is, imagine how this person would look as a mother. Even if she's an all-star or gorgeous businesswoman, right? That's irrelevant. The most important job in the world is a mother, right? You have to meditate and close your eyes and imagine how this soulmate would act and function as a mother. If she does not pass that muster, right, and be like a good mother, right, even though she's great and everything else, you want to stay away from that. That's not what you should be looking for. Because, now, what's a good predictor of this? Your future mother-in-law. Which means, some women, they never get their umbilical cord cut off from their mother. Right? Figuratively speaking. So if you want to have this is secret stuff I'm telling you guys. This could change your life. This could save you. If you don't need to watch that famous movie in 1985, Back to the Future. You could see the future before your eyes now. See if your mother-in-law is Eshet Chayil, your potential wife's mother. Does she treat her husband with respect? Does she know how to run a house, right? High probability. Now, again, we're living in a world where there's converts and they're Bali Tshuva, right? We're giving general guidelines, but I've seen this more often than not, that a very, very strong and good predictor of who your wife will be is, take a good look at your mother-in-law. Personality, how she's going to treat you, right? So again, this is going back to the thing I said before. If your mother-in-law and your father-in-law are like milk and honey, and they respect each other and love each other, and it's such a gorgeous and glorious and good family, right? And she knows how to cook a good challah bibi and cholent, and right, she doesn't act lazily, and she's responsive, and she's put together. She's with the program. Corona made everybody not with the program anymore, if you know what I'm talking about. But a good predictor of who your wife is going to act and mimic is what? Her mother. Because women have a very strong bond that us men can never even imagine to understand. So let's just say a few other very important things. Chazal teach us whole Judaism was started by Avraham Avinu. Avraham Avinu taught his star student, what was his name? Eliezer. Eliezer, guys, this is a well-known thing in Parshat Lech Lecha and all the yeshivas in the Mir. When I learned there, Rabbi Leibowitz, all the people were talking about this. I'm sorry, Parsha Chayesara is the parsha that they teach the boys what to look for in a girl. And every Rosh Hashiva and every good Rebbe in the Mir and Lakewood and everything is going to teach you. On the top of the list of what criterion you should look for a girl, remember we said you should do good research? NSA, CIA, FBI level research? One question you need to be asking is she a balat chesed? Is she kind? Because guess what? Like we said a second ago, you want a good mother. What is a mother? Mother is a symbol of kindness. The kindness of a mother is unlimited. If she's a selfish person, again, that's a red flag. What was the test that Eliezer did to find out who is going to be the star woman? The woman of the century that's going to help continue Avraham Avinu's legacy and continue monotheism and Judaism. He tested Rivka in the area of what? Chesed. Chesed, chesed, chesed. That should be the number one priority. And that's why Rabbeinu Nis'im, one of the great Sephardic Geonim, which was a doctor, parenthetically, that wrote one of the most important, probably, Pirush on the Alfasi, the Ran, we call him. He says that in his Drasha Saran, he says, you learn from here that push comes to shove, if a woman is super religious, but she doesn't have good midot, she's not kind, who should you go for? The kind one. Because Eliezer's daughter was super from, but she was a Kanani. And the Midrash says she was Arur, she was cursed. So Abraham said, you can't. Eliezer went straight like Eliyahu Navi. The Midrash says, the Pirkei de Rabbi Elazar said to Gan Eden, like Eliyahu Navi. What? And he had a daughter. Avraham Avinu, the Gemara in Yuma we had on Daf Chavchet, is Eliezer Zakin v'Yoshev b'Yeshiva. Eliezer was a Rosh Yeshiva. You go away from Eliezer's daughter and you go to Rivka, which her father was the worst. Betuel, which wanted to poison Eliezer, yes, because she had good midot. Yeah. Read Rashi. Lavan.
Oh, Lavan, yeah.
No, Betuel wanted to poison him, but Gabriel changed the potion and Betuel died. That's why when they were negotiating the shidduch. So guys, it says that it's very, very important. At the top of the list should be that the woman should be Eshet Chayil. What is it? What is the word become an Eshet Chayil? It should be that she's a chesed, kindness, right? Kindness is supreme. Number B of this is that the Gemara says, now, if you do not appreciate quiet people, then you're looking for an outgoing person, which is fine. But parenthetically, the Gemara in the end of Kiddushin says, in Babylonia, they would go after families that were shetikuta. Rav Chaim Kanievsky brings this in his book. People that were calm. Families that were always fighting and yelling at each other. Or, like, sometimes your neighbor, you could hear him across the street. That's not a good sign. Number C, the Chazon Ish writes, very importantly in his letters to all his students, that you better make darn sure that she's not stubborn. One of the greatest Rosh Hashivas in America had to divorce his wife over this because she didn't want to move from Israel to America. People that are rigid, it's either my way or the highway. Listen, the Rambam says, what is a Jewish family supposed to look like? A woman should respect her husband like the king, like a king, a royalty. And a husband should treat his wife like what?
Queen.
A queen. Rambam says this is the DNA. This is the essence of a Jewish family. But if a woman is stubborn and she doesn't respect her husband, his opinion, right? It's very, very dangerous. And I could tell you this from experience, that you need a woman. Of course, she should be put together, but she has to be somebody that is willing to go with the flow. And if the husband, for example, this case that we know, this great Rosh Hashiva, his father passed away young, and he had to move from Israel to take over his grandfather's yeshiva, right? So, stubbornness, again. So a lot of times, dating should be fun, but you need to act like an FBI investigator. Make sure that she's not stubborn. Make sure that she's not narcissistic and selfish, right? You got to look out for these stuff. You have to also make sure she's not angry, right? We said in Babylonia, the Talmud Bavli says in Kiddushin, they wanted families that are najib, quiet, put together, like royalty, not people that are like always bickering, like Korach, right? Korach, you don't want a family of Korach. And obviously, the D of this is Shlomo HaMelech says, Sheker achen ve'evel hayofi, Isha yirat Adonai titalal. The woman that's praiseworthy is who? The woman that fears God. If she doesn't fear God, again, the Gemara in Pesachim says over there on Memtet, you should sell the shirt off your back and marry the daughter of a Talmid Chacham. Because if God forbid you were to die, what's going to happen? Your children are in good hands. They're going to be brought up in the path of what? Torah. Now this thing, and with this we're going to finish, is for women. Women should always wear, and this is important for men also. My Rosh Hashiva Rav Weinberg said, it's true men and women should share everything, but never share anything with your wife or your potential date that's going to make you look like a loser. Because it's very important in a date for a woman to respect her husband. You understand? If she thinks, God forbid, her husband's a loser, that's a recipe for a lot of shalom bayit issues. You understand? So a woman has to, and that's why a husband should always have self-respect. You understand? Another part of this is my dad used to always say, if you take her out to a $200 dinner and she has no gratefulness, this is the whole story of last week's parasha. People that are ungrateful, it's going to be very hard to build a life. Everybody, when you get married, you want to build so much happiness and joy and beauty and bring beautiful children. But you need, your better half needs to be somebody that appreciates it. Women especially needs to always be treated like a queen and appreciated. Thank you, honey, for making amazing dinner. In Reader's Digest, it said one night a man was, listen, this is very good. It says one night a man had a very bad stomachache and started vomiting. And he was married for 30 years. So after, he says, honey, the food that you fed me tonight seemed very, very, very odd. It didn't seem fit for human consumption. She said, I gave you cat food. So he said, this is a true story. He said, why you give me cat food? He said, for 20, 30 years, I cook you gourmet food. You never say thank you. You never say it's good. You never say it's bad. So I want to get a reaction out of you. Guys, we need to connect and marry soulmates and people that are grateful, that appreciate us. You need to be that great, right? Mm-hmm. What I'm saying also is not only can we expect that of others, we need to fix ourselves. Right. Greatness comes from within. And the last thing that we're going to end off the class with is probably the most important thing the Gemara says, and off the top of my head, I want to say 30 people, but at least 20 people I know that are not married is because they don't follow this rule. The Gemara says, Netov darga v'ntiv itita. You know what that means? Go down one step and marry a woman, which means stay within your league. There's 3 categories of people. People that you're interested in and they're not interested in you. People that are interested in you and you're not interested in them. Then people that are in your league. I would say even the people that you're not, that are interested in you and you're not interested in them, maybe you're making a mistake. You understand? Because Gemara says, you really have to ask yourself, are these good people? Maybe they're not the richest, maybe they're not the most queen of beauty, Miss America, but what I'm trying to say is, Shlomo Melech says, beauty is false. If everything is based on beauty, the Gemara says you're not chas v'shalom, you're not have good kids. People that get married for these ulterior motives, netav dargaga, go down one step, right? Whatever your expectation was, if you were looking for a 90 out of 100, let's say woman, go down one step, right? If you were looking for a very wealthy woman, look for something. When you go down one step, like for example, we said a woman always needs to respect her husband. If you go marry the daughter of a billionaire and you come from a very simple family, is she going to respect you? It's going to be a challenge for her. So this is the golden rule of the Gemara, that if people would stay within their league or even go down a little bit, make your expectation less. Get a woman from a family that is a little bit less prominent and important to you. And may Hashem help us to review. The 3rd commandment was that we should look inside, look for the right things, because what's inside is more important than what's outside. The Hollywood culture is, they change their spouses like we change our socks. They have no kiyum. Is nonsense. What they call love, we call lust. What they call love, we call hate.